The church bells rang as Abena hurried toward the entrance, afraid she'd miss her daughter's walk down the aisle. She never made it inside. A security guard stepped into her path and gently took the invitation from her hand. "I'm sorry, ma'am. Your husband left strict instructions. You're not allowed inside." At that exact moment, the church doors opened. Abena watched her husband walk their daughter down the aisle while another woman smiled from the seat reserved for the bride's mother. Not one person inside that church realized they had just locked out the one person who held their family's future in her hands. "A clean break is kinder, Abena, for everyone." That was Loretta brushing past her on the steps. "You never fit the picture. Let the girl have her day." And a phone came up in the doorway, filming her standing there in the cold. That was the part she did not understand yet. Nobody films a woman they are simply done with. They film a woman they need on the record. Chioma did not look back. He straightened his tie and smiled for the cameras. He believed he had finally cut the last dead weight from his life. His mother believed the same. The woman in Abena's seat crossed her legs and watched the doors close. Everyone inside that church thought the story was over. But the man throwing his wife out into the cold was throwing out the one person who quietly held everything he loved. In her coat pocket, her fingers closed around a folded letter, sealed, her father's initials pressed into the wax. She had carried it for 2 years and never opened it. Welcome to today's story. If you enjoy emotional drama and shocking twists, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more unforgettable stories. And before we begin, let me know where you're watching from in the comments. But Chioma had not always been this cruel. Once he was a hungry young man with holes in his shoes. Once he loved her. 20 years back, Abena was in nursing school. Chioma sold insurance door to door. They married in a courthouse. She wore a borrowed dress. She believed in him before anyone else did. When Ellison Capital was just a desk and a phone, her paycheck kept the lights on. Her steady hands paid the rent. She worked nights at the hospital. He built his days on her sleep. Then Simone came, a daughter with her mother's eyes. Abena made a choice. She stepped back from her career she loved so their girl would have one parent home, so Chioma could climb. He climbed. The firm grew, the house grew, the cars changed every 2 years. And somewhere in the growing, Chioma started looking at his wife like a coat gone out of style. "You should dress the part now," he told her once. "People are watching us." She said nothing. She had a father to think about. Her father, Cornelius Vaughn, was fading by then, a quiet man. To Chioma, a retired schoolteacher with a small house and a bad heart. That was exactly what Cornelius let people believe. Abena moved him into the guest room. She fed him, bathed him, sat up through the long nights. Chioma complained about the smell of medicine in his house. Loretta complained louder. "There are facilities for this," she said over dinner, cutting her chicken into perfect squares. "It's sweet what you do, sweet but not a career. Some of us built something." Abena kept feeding her father his soup. Her father watched Loretta with tired, clever eyes. He watched Chioma longer. One evening near the end, he took Abena's hand. "You carried everybody," he said. "Now let me carry you." He pressed the folded letter into her palm, his initials in the wax. "Not the day I die, the day they put you out. You'll know it. Open it then, and not 1 hour before." She laughed a little and cried a little and slid it in a drawer. He was gone 3 days later. And after the funeral, a man in a gray suit was waiting on her porch. Jabari Reed, her father's attorney for 31 years. "My father was a teacher," Abena said. "Your father was a careful man," Jabari answered. "Careful men keep lawyers. May I come in?" At her kitchen table, he set down a single page and turned it face down. "Don't read it yet. First, one rule. Do not sign anything Chioma puts in front of you. Not this month, not next." "Why would Chioma need me to sign?" Abena said. "I don't know yet," Jabari said, and that was the truth. "Your father left you something large. I can't tell you the full shape of it today because I'm still confirming what's already in motion around it. If I hand you facts I can't back with paper and you act on them, it can be used against you. Give me 2 weeks. I'll bring proof, not guesses." That answer she could trust, a man who guessed less than he knew. 2 weeks, she said. That night she bought a plain notebook and began writing down everything, every cold thing, every strange thing, every date. She did not know what she was building, only that her father had told her to watch. The first strange thing came in 10 days. A charge on the joint account, $60,000, coal advisory. She asked Chioma over breakfast. He didn't look up from his phone. Consulting, firm business, don't worry about grown folks' money. She wrote it down. Coal advisory, 60,000. He wouldn't meet my eyes. New question, who was Cole? She met her at a company dinner she was barely invited to, emerald green, a deal-maker's handshake. "Vanessa Cole, I'm advising Chioma on the big one." A pause, a flicker. "He talks about you all the time." He didn't, Abena could see it. Vanessa had never once heard her name. But Vanessa was looking at Abena a beat too long, the way you study a thing you already know something about. Chioma stood too close to her all night. Abena did not make a scene. She went home and wrote it down. Then she underlined one line. "Vanessa knew who I was before I said a word." Jabari came back with a box, not a page. "It is not cash," he said. "Your father never trusted cash. Cash gets spent. Cash gets taken." "Then what?" "A trust. The Vaughn Family Trust. 40 years of quiet building, wrapped so no one could see the size of it, including you. He wanted your hands clean until you needed them full." A trust holding what? He opened a folder and let her read it herself instead of making her ask twice. Controlling ownership of a company called Meridian. The name hit her like cold water. Chioma says that name in his sleep. He's been chasing Meridian for 3 years. It's the deal that makes or breaks him. Then you should know the rest now, because it's about to matter. Jabari's voice stayed even. Meridian is not for sale to Chioma. Meridian is inside your father's trust, and the successor named to control that trust is you. The kitchen seemed to tilt. "My husband is trying to buy a company that already belongs to me," she said slowly. "He's negotiating for a throne, and he's sitting on your lap to do it. He doesn't know that, not yet." He closed the folder. "The question that keeps me up is simpler. If Chioma doesn't know, then why does his advisor keep pulling Meridian's ownership records?" Abena's pen stopped over the page. That was the question she carried home. The answer arrived through the locks. She came back to find her father's old room stripped, boxes gone, chair gone, Loretta directing 2 men. "Clearing clutter, dear. The dead don't need a room, and soon neither will you." That night, Abena opened her banking app and found a second account in her name, one she had never opened, money moving through it, coal advisory again. Her hand went flat on the counter to steady herself. She called Jabari at midnight. "They opened an account in my name. They're running money through me." A long silence. "Don't touch it. Don't close it. Photograph. Change nothing." Then, carefully, "If this deal is dirty, they've built a floor with your name on it, so when it breaks, you're the one standing on it." "Why me?" "Because a wife who's about to be discarded makes a perfect story. Nobody looks twice at what a scorned woman stole." He drew a breath. "There's something in the trust you need to understand. A clause. Your father wrote it to protect you. In the wrong hands, it does the opposite. Say it plainly. Your succession only vests if you're in good standing with the immediate family, not formally estranged. He put it there so no stranger could isolate you, cut you off, and capture the trust behind your back. But read it backward. Pause. If someone can build a record, witnessed, documented, public, that your own family has cast you out, they can petition the court to freeze your succession and slot in a temporary trustee while it's reviewed. Abena looked at the calendar on the wall. Simone's wedding, 6 weeks away, 300 guests, photographers, press. And the Meridian vote, she asked? 8 days after the wedding. The pieces slid together with a sound she could almost hear. "They're going to bar me from my daughter's wedding," she said slowly, "in front of everyone, on camera, not because he hates me, because he needs proof I'm estranged before that vote. He needs a freeze on my succession so he can push Meridian through as trustee." "That is exactly what I'm afraid of," Jabari said. She set the phone down. She did not cry. She pressed both palms to the cold counter and breathed until her hands stopped shaking. Then she picked up the pen back up. Because now she knew the day, and a plan you can see coming is a plan you can turn around. The next weeks moved like a slow tide, and she let them. She did not fight the locks. She did not fight Loretta. She moved into a small apartment and let Chioma believe she was breaking. Every night, she and Jabari built. They traced Cole Advisory to its roots, and the roots did not lead to Chioma. They led to a private equity group that had tried to buy Meridian 2 years earlier and been blocked by ownership they couldn't crack. That's how she found it, Abena breathed, staring at the timeline. Vanessa didn't stumble onto Meridian through Chioma. She was hunting Meridian first. She hit the trust, couldn't see through it, and dug until she found a name. My father's. Then mine. Jabari nodded slowly. She learned the trust ran through Cornelius Vaughn's daughter, and that her daughter was married to a man burning 3 years chasing the very company she controlled. So she got close to Chioma on purpose. Abena's voice was quiet steel. He thinks she's his advisor. She thinks he's her door. He's the only one at that table who doesn't know what's really on it. She knows more than your husband ever will, Jabari said. The moment your succession is frozen and Chioma is trustee, she moves. She takes Meridian off him for her backers and leaves him holding the crime. Abena wrote one line and underlined it twice. He is being played by the woman in my seat, and he cast me out to do it. Then came the forged signature, her name on a transfer authorization she had never seen, the loops wrong, the date a Tuesday she'd spent 14 hours at the hospital, badge records to prove it. Jabari went very still. This isn't a bitter divorce anymore. This is fraud, and fraud opens doors that divorce never could. Subpoenas, discovery, forensics. If we file, I can lawfully pull records they think are private. Then file, Abena said. That was the choice she made herself. Not revenge, a door. But the cruelest blow came without paperwork. Simone stopped taking her calls. When they finally spoke, her daughter's voice was ice. Dad told me everything, Mom, how you hid money, drained the accounts, how you dumped Grandpa's care on strangers so you could plan your exit. Every word was her real life turned inside out. Simone, none of that is... I saw the account, Mom, the one in your name. Dad showed me. Don't come to the wedding, please. Let me have one clean day. The line went dead. Abena lowered the phone slowly. Her jaw worked once. She set the phone face down on the table with both hands, gently, the way you set down something you're afraid you'll throw. She wrote nothing that night. Some wounds you don't have words for yet. Chioma had not only taken her life, he had handed it to their child upside down, and the child believed him. Then Vanessa posted a photograph. Abena's stripped family room, bare walls. The the caption, "Some spaces feel better once the past is cleared out." Loretta liked it within the hour. They were already dancing on a grave. They did not know it was empty. 2 nights before the wedding, Jabari slid a thick folder across the table. Abena Vaughn, sole successor and controlling trustee of the Vaughn Family Trust, signed, witnessed, sealed. You control Meridian outright, which means this merger cannot close without your signature, not one page. Chioma has bet his entire name on a deal that ends at your hand. He built his whole life standing on me and never once looked down to see whose back he was standing on. Then Jabari set down a second, thinner file. His face changed. Discovery came in tonight. The fraud filing let me subpoena Loretta's phone and Chioma's server. Forensics pulled a thread I want you to see before the gala, not during it. She read, and her breath left her slowly. 6 weeks earlier, Chioma to his mother, "Keep her away from the church. It has to be public, witnessed, photographed, on the record. She's cast out by the family. Reed's clause needs proof of estrangement before the Meridian vote. No slip-ups." It was never cruelty for its own sake. He wrote the plan down. Deleted the thread the next day, but firm servers back up. It's authenticated, time-stamped, and it's now evidence in an open fraud case. Nobody can call it a stunt. Abena took her father's letter from her coat, sealed for 2 years. He had told her to open it the day they put her out. They had put her out on the church steps. She broke the wax. One sheet in his hand, a small brass key taped beneath. "My Abena, if you're reading this, they've shown you who they are. Don't hate them, outthink them. The key opens the box. It reads, 'Everything I built so no one could ever put my daughter out in the cold again. You were never the weak one. You were the whole foundation. Stand up, Daddy.'" She held the paper to her chest. Her eyes filled, and she let them, once in private, for him. Then she wiped her face with the back of her hand and stood. "The gala," she said, "that's where I walk in." The gala was gold and glass and 300 of the most important people Chioma knew. A banner read, "Ellison Capital, a new era." Vanessa stood beside him in red. Loretta held the front row, jewels at her throat. Simone was there too, new husband at her side, believing every lie. Chioma took the stage, vision, legacy, built from nothing, all by himself. "They said a man like me couldn't reach this room," he said, and they applauded. "In 8 days we close Meridian. My name goes in the book." He raised his glass. The doors at the back opened. Abena walked in, black dress, no jewels, one leather folder, and a brass key on a chain at her throat. The room turned like wind moving through grass. Chioma's smile locked. "This is private. Someone remove her." Nobody moved, because she was already walking to the stage, calm as Sunday morning. "Finish the toast, Chioma," and quiet carried in that room. "Tell them who owns Meridian." "I'm buying Meridian. Everyone here knows that." "You can't buy what isn't for sale, and you can't merge with a company that belongs to your wife." Nervous laughter. Vanessa's face lost its color first, because Vanessa was the only one who understood what was coming. Abena laid the pages on the podium, one by one, for the cameras. The Vaughn Family Trust, founded by Cornelius Vaughn, controlling owner of Meridian Group. She turned the page. "Sole successor and trustee, me." Silence. "Every share you were chasing answers to my signature. This deal does not close unless I say it closes, and I don't." Chioma laughed, and it cracked. "This is a stunt. She's a nurse. She mopped my floors." "I did," Abena said, "while you built a tower on my back and forgot I was under it." She looked at the investors. "You came to celebrate a merger. There is no merger, not with him." The phones came out. Ellison Capital was dying in real time, and the whole gold room could see it. Loretta rose. "You vindicative woman, you'd ruin your own family for spite?" Abena turned to her, still as water. "You told me a clean break was kinder. You were right. Watch me make one." Chioma reached for her arm. "Abena, bistro, be reasonable. We're still married. Half of everything I have, half of everything you have," she said, "was always mine. You just never read the fine print." That was the first peek. Her father taught her never to play one card when you're holding two. Because Jabari was already crossing the floor, two officers behind him, and they were not there for Abena. Vanessa did the thing cornered people do. She chose herself. "For the record," she said, loud, "the fraudulent accounts were his, the transfers, the signatures. He said she'd never notice." She turned on Chioma with a deal-maker's cold precision. "You were supposed to freeze her out clean. You couldn't even do that. Vanessa," his voice fell apart, "I found Meridian 2 years before you did. You were just the husband in the way. I don't go to prison for a man who lost his own company to his wife." Jabari laid the discovery file on the podium. "Forged signatures, money laundered through an account opened in my client's name without her knowledge, wire records, handwriting analysis." He faced the room, "and got, lawfully, through discovery, this." He read Chioma's own message aloud. "Keep her away from the church. Witnessed, photographed, on the record. Reed's clause needs proof of estrangement before the vote." The room inhaled as one body. "He didn't bar me from my daughter's wedding out of cruelty," Abena said. "He did it to manufacture proof I was estranged, freeze my succession, and steal what my father left me. 8 days before the vote, he wrote it down. He deleted it. It backed up anyway." Then the clause turned in her favor, and she said so plainly. "The law doesn't reward a man who engineers the estrangement he wants to prove. The record he built to cast me out is now the record that convicts him." Loretta sat down hard, one hand at her throat. The officers took Chioma by the arms. The great man of the evening walked out of his own gala in handcuffs, beneath a banner with his name on it. He looked back once. Abena was already turned toward her daughter. But Simone did not run into her mother's arms. She stood frozen in the crowd, tears on her face, shaking her head slowly, not at the officers, at herself. "I believed him," she whispered. "I told you not to come. I told you." Her voice broke. "I saw the account, and I never once called you to ask." "Simone, don't." Simone stepped back, both hands up. "Don't tell me it's okay. It's not okay. I chose him. On my wedding day, I chose him." And she turned and left through the same doors her mother once had been barred from. Abena let her go. Some doors you cannot open for another person. They have to walk back through on their own. The Meridian deal never closed. Ellison Capital dissolved inside a month. Vanessa's testimony sank Chioma and singed her badly. She lost her license, and the backers who'd sent her hunting in the first place scattered from her name. Loretta, who had cut old men's chicken into perfect squares while calling a nurse's love a hobby, found her invitations drying up one by one, until the phone that had ruled a small world simply stopped ringing. Abena did not spend her days on any of them. She kept every worker at Meridian. She learned their names, the way her father had taught her. Then she took the trust her father built in the shadows and carried it into the light. She founded the Cornelius Vaughn Foundation, a legal fund and a refuge for women pushed out of their own families and businesses. Women told they were sweet, but not a career. Women whose names were on everything and whose seats got given away. She hired lawyers who fought quiet and clean like Jabari. She opened a house with real beds and a room kept warm all night, so no woman turned out into the cold would ever stand alone on a stranger's steps. At the front desk, she framed 2 things: her father's letter, and beneath it, the small brass key. Simone did not come right away. Months passed. A short message first, then a longer one. Then a Tuesday when she showed up at the foundation door and stood there unsure, the way her grandfather's letter said no woman should ever have to stand. "I don't expect you to forgive me fast," she said. "I'm not forgiving myself fast." "I don't need it fast," Abena said. "I need it true." They started there, not healed, honest. Simone came back the next week and the week after, learning her mother's real story one true page at a time, who had carried whom. One evening near closing, Simone found her mother at the framed letter. "Do you wish you'd opened it sooner?" she asked. "All those years in a drawer." Abena looked at her father's handwriting, at the word foundation. "No," she said. "He told me to wait until they put me out. He knew I'd need it more on the worst day than any good one." She touched the glass. He was always right about the worst days. Outside, the sun was going down over a house full of women who finally had somewhere safe to sleep. Abena turned off the lobby light. She reached for the door, not to keep anyone out, but to keep everyone inside safe. And for the first time in a long time, her hand was perfectly steady. If this story moved you, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Tell me in the comments where you were watching from, and I will see you in the next unforgettable story.